We made it. You're in the Maldives. First day. Woohoo! Oh wait, come on. Be a space zombie, girl. Space zombie! And we're gonna do some really cool, fun things with some kids today. Yep. Oh yes! Space high five! Helping people realize all of what we're doing in space is really getting brought back here to Earth. What do you think? Are you ready? Yes. Yo, come on. Are you ready? Are you ready to go to space? Hi, I'm Christina Korp, and I am known as the astronaut wrangler. Anybody know that word, wrangler? Do you know what that means? It's like where you're like throw a lasso and then you grab a horse usually, but I do it with astronauts. I am here with my friend and partner in purpose, Nicole Stott.
And I'm the wrangled astronaut.
I have a foundation called Space for a Better World, and I am someone who lived in an area where I was never exposed to space, nobody ever talked about space, and yet here I work with astronauts now.
I spent over 10 years working with Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin, and I've worked with astronauts now for almost 15 years. It's given me a life of unexpected adventures. I've traveled to all 7 continents and even to the South Pole. I've seen more places on Earth up close than most astronauts. It surprised me at first, but I realized how hard they work to get to space, only to discover the Earth.
Both of my flights were to and from space on the space shuttle. The first flight was up on the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Nicole Stott spent over 100 days at the ISS and 18 days underwater as an aquanaut. She's the 10th woman to conduct a spacewalk, one of only 16 women in the history of the world to do that. She painted the first and possibly the only watercolor in space.
When we live and work in space, we're working really hard while we're up there. But when we do have free time, we are in front of one of these windows. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't look at this picture and not think, wow, I live on a planet. Wow, that's a pretty thin blue line of atmosphere that's wrapping around and protecting all of us.
That experience is often called the overview effect, a term coined by Frank White, which he describes as the cognitive shift that results when viewing the Earth from space, a state of awe with self-transcendent qualities.
In some ways, I mean, I like to think about Earth as our spaceship, right?
We live on a planet in space.
Yep.
You guys are spinning in space right now, so it's not a separate thing from our lives.
So how can an astronaut's perspective be used for good when they come back to Earth? That's what we want to explore through Space for a Better World and a series called The Place I Saw from Space.
So we exercise 2 hours a day up there, both resistive exercise. We have this cool machine that's kind of like weightlifting.
It's not an easy task to be astronaut, how much training they do.
No, you guys could be astronauts.
Yeah.
Everyone here could be one.
Our mission is to connect the space curious to the space serious.
This is how rocket launches are successful. You need to do many tests, right? It doesn't just happen overnight.
And showcase all the ways space benefits life on Earth.
You bailed out! You bailed out! Oh my gosh, that was awesome! That was outstanding!
We want to do that by taking astronauts to places on Earth that they've never seen up close.
I don't know, you look at this picture and I think you can get a sense of how that's the most separated I've ever been from the planet before. It's a life-changing place to be. But the Maldives, the place that we're in today, reminds us of how awesome our planet right here on Earth is.
First stop, the Maldives, a nation of islands in the Indian Ocean that spans across the equator. To me, the photos of the Maldives from space looks like the outline of a whale. Take a look.
I was hoping to see more of my space sisters, so I don't know if they're coming or not.
I'd be so excited. Here they come.
Good morning. We're happy that you're here.
Island life for the locals away from the resorts is simple and humble. It's tough to get from one island to the next by boat, but even here, people are inspired by space.
You're gonna go to one of the moons of Saturn, check out the rings of Saturn? Yeah?
We met with several teachers and school kids who dreamed of going to space.
How actually astronauts like in space, how they poop?
How they poop? That's not a stupid question. I mean, we gotta do it, right? Yeah.
There is no gravity, right?
There's a hose with a funnel on the end of it. It's incredible because you're floating, right? You're floating over this toilet, but it's actually kind of fun.
The sandy white beaches and palm trees are everything you see in a vacation photo. The blue water is stunning. And yet, on many of the uninhabited islands, there are piles of trash that wash up from other places.
Look at this last bag. Oh my gosh. And we did our best. This is a good way to show young people that cleaning up what you see, even if it wasn't your mess. We could all do our part to gather what trash that we see.
This is a place that many people consider paradise. Make no mistake, it is spectacular. This is like my first time diving in
the open water.
Yeah.
With creatures, there's gonna be creatures.
But it's also ground zero for climate change over the next few decades, and it could be the first place on Earth submerged by rising seas. The animals and sea life are impacted too.
Coral, is it a plant or an animal? Animal.
There is evidence of bleaching on the coral reefs. However, the local resort where we stayed, Como Maalifushi, is committed to promoting sustainability and doing all they can to limit their impact.
Everyone's talking about global warming and climate change, and ocean is going to get a lot of this effect. So the more corals we have, then the more chance it is hopefully that they will survive going forward.
During our stay at Como Maalifushi, we helped to plant new coral with other guests.
I want to come back and see these now that I've planted some of this stuff. 1, 2, 3.
This is why this place on Earth is so interesting to us and why we wanted to see it up close. We believe that space is the key to saving it, and even other places on Earth that are threatened by climate change.
This is pure happiness to me right here, because we both really love art and using art to inspire.
It's pretty cool to see how kids really get it. Oh, look at that. Did you make that? Wow. That's beautiful. They really understand when we're talking to them about the fact that we live on a planet, we're all earthlings. Only border that matters, that thin blue line of atmosphere.
We're making a rocket out of eco-friendly materials, out of, what do we got here?
Wood.
Branches, wood, we've got fronds over here, we've got sand. Our hope is that we will inspire young people to think about their place on planet Earth and how special it is and how special they are.
Neil Armstrong said when he first stepped on the moon, one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
I was a girl who had big dreams, who came from a very humble background. And so I've gotten to do extraordinary things because I pursued my dreams. I aimed higher for my dreams than what society or my circumstances dictated. So I really want to light that spark in another kid who is just like me.
I'm the first one on Mars.
My hope is that by us being here, me and Nicole and the other astronauts, when we travel around the world, that we help light that spark.
Rocket ship Maldives.
Through the awe and wonder of space exploration and inspire people to aim higher for their dreams. We did it! This is just the beginning.